Okay. Welcome to the Cooking Without Looking TV show, World Sight Day edition. I'm your host, Allen Preston.
And hello, everyone. I'm your host, Annette Watkins. I apologize. I was on the big computer for I don't know what you guys can see, but now I'm on my phone and the computer trying to read this big print. But Alan, something really kind of exciting and memorable today is the World Sight Day. It's observed annually on the second Thursday of every month. I mean, a second Thursday of October, excuse me. And it's a global event meant to draw attention to the blind and the visually impaired.
Yes, Annette, World Sight Day was originally initiated by the Sight First campaign of the Lions Club International Foundation in the year 2000. It was done as a fundraiser.
Really? Well, that's great because the theme for the World Sight Day for 2023 is, you want to take a guess? Anybody?
Tell us.
Okay, it's the Love Your Eyes at Work. That's the theme. And the International Agency for Prevention of Blindness, the IAPB, they launched their annual campaign in the lead up to the World Sight Day in October 12th, 2023. With this key theme is focusing on the eye health in the workplace.
Well, we get about 80% of all of our information by means of our eyesight. So please, all of you people who are normally sighted, take really good care of those eyes on this World Sight Day.
Yes, Alan, that's so important. And, today we have two very special guests. We have a longtime friends of our Cooking Without Looking TV show to help us out today in the World Sight Day. First, we have Ben Fox. Ben is such a character. He's an amazing guy. He will prepare his Italian soda. I don't know if he's Italian, but this soda is incredible. And then we have Sylvia Stinson-Perez. She's going to prepare her simple, I love that, simple pumpkin pie. Not pie, but a simple pumpkin bread. And she's going to provide extra tips on cooking and baking when someone is blind and visually impaired. Alan?
Just as a reminder to all of you folks in our audience, that all of us on the Cooking Without Looking TV show are blind or visually impaired. So let's kick off our special World Sight Day edition of the Cooking Without Looking TV show. Annette?
Fantastic. Fantastic. And today, our first guest I had mentioned earlier, we're going to welcome Ben Fox. Ben, tell us a little bit about yourself, your organization, and also, last but not least, your blindness.
Hello, Annette. Happy
Hi,
World Sight
Ben.
Day. Thank you so much for having us on the show. My name is Ben Fox. I am a blind filmmaker, and I'm wearing a black shirt that has a gentleman with a white cane and a camera held up to his eyes, and it says Blind Can Film Festival. And when I was 18 years old, that was 22 years ago, by the way, I'm 40. This is before YouTube, before digital cameras. I was 18 and I had a dream to go to Hollywood. And I also knew that in my family is a genetic, well, some people call it an eye disorder. I call it an eye opportunity. And I was honestly praying that my eyes would see perfectly for my whole life. But I am happy to say I'm loving, living, and thriving with blindness. And I'm so grateful to be part of this community. So thank you to all the people that have gone before me in blindness and built this amazing community. It's awesome to be part of it.
That's amazing.
That being said, when I was 18 years old, I had a short, very short Sundance film. I was one of the first 8 students to ever be part of the Gen Y Sundance Filmmaking Academy. I got to spend a summer with real filmmakers from the Sundance Film Festival, and they had films all over the place, by the way. And the big film festival that we all strive to get into is Sundance. And at 18, I made it.
Wow.
And then a couple weeks later, after having like a red carpet gala and people saying 2 thumbs up and stuff like that, and getting a lot of business cards and a lot of invites to go further on into Hollywood and just explore as a young person what could potentially be my future. I ended up having detached retinas and surgeries. And I was told to prepare for blindness because there's something more than detaching retinas wrong with my eyes. And the doctor said, "Do you have any family history of blindness?" And of course, I had to say yes. You know, in my family, we have retinitis pigmentosa and also Usher's. And that means people go blind slowly over time and potentially deaf as well. And slowly, a tunnel closing in. Eventually, doctors say, from my case, likely into no vision at all. So as a blind filmmaker, I had to really decide, you know, is that something I want to pursue? And next thing I know, I'm having surgery on my right eye because that retina is coming off too. So I do know what it's like to be fully blind, at least for a short period of time, because I've never seen out of that left eye again. The right eye, the doctors were able to say, "Thank you, Dr. Plum. I'm so grateful for the vision that I do have." And so I'm able today to still look through a camera a little bit. I love to go out to places I've never been with the camera and film beautiful panoramic views, which means just look from left to right and just slowly pan that camera. Because when I get back to edit, I put that beautiful image in slow motion. I sit at my computer and I get to look, at least right now, and I'm enjoying the level of vision I have as much as I have it. And when I'm fully blind, I'll enjoy it a lot of new things then. But right now, I still look at the screen and I get to, you know, I was like, wow, I was there in person and this is the video that I filmed and I'm editing it. And it's really my very favorite thing in the entire world. And my very, very, very favorite thing is to be with people I love and to film them doing something they love and then editing that film. So that's my favorite thing. So, you know, thanks for asking about that. Our organization is the Blind Can Film Festival. And we named it that because somebody once told me that they thought a person who's blind can't make films. So the blind can. That's the Blind Can Film Festival motto. White canes, cameras, action, guide dogs welcome too.
Wow.
Blindcon.org.
That's so interesting. You just light up when you talk about that. It's amazing that you're still doing that and started that film organization. I'm going to ask you about World Sight Day in a minute and what it means to you, but you caught my attention with the film industry being able to see a little bit through the camera. When did you start that organization and when is it and where is it going to be held?
Absolutely. So we're headquartered in Tallahassee, Florida, Florida State Capitol. We're in the Arts District, where we have a small film studio where we train people blind in all abilities, how to use cameras, edit, tell stories, direct, and be in front of the camera themselves. We have an annual film festival. This will be our 4th one. We meet in April, always the very first Friday in April. The first Friday and first Saturday in April is always the film festival. This year it's April 5th and 6th.
Okay, I'd like to go
2024.
to that. We have to keep in touch because
Please
I'm
do.
involved with the Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival, and we
Okay.
screen over about 200 films at least. I mean, there's so many submissions. I mean, they would probably take submissions from your organization. It doesn't have to be limited to just blind, you know, people and have your own festival. You could branch out and send movies to other festivals to qualify for theirs, you know?
You know what? I love that. That's the first thing that you realize is that people that are blind should be sending our films to every film festival. What we started doing specifically is reaching out to people who are blind that have really cool stories and saying, have you thought about telling your own story? And a
Yes,
lot of people say, well, I'm not a filmmaker. I don't even know how to start. And they go, well, you have a story. And they say, yeah. I said, there's your start. And I said, have you got a cell phone with the camera on it? And they say, well, yeah. And I
exactly,
go, find a quiet room and become a filmmaker. And
exactly.
so some people that had never made a film and self-admittedly said had never thought to make a film came out to the Sundance. I will be at the Sundance Film Festival again, the Blind Can Film Festival. And they put their film in our festival and won. Like they won Best Short Film. And they said, I didn't think of myself as a filmmaker, Ben, until we started talking about the impact that these videos, as I called them, had on other people. And then I started telling him those are not videos, they're films.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Can I break in for just a second? Ben, I happen to be a member of one of our local community theater groups. And aside from being one of the people on stage, I've also been elected as their cameraman. Does that count?
100%.
I've already done 2 for our group, and one of the other local theater groups asked me to film theirs too.
That is absolutely phenomenal, brother. Like anytime I hear about that type of thing, it makes my heart soar because like the blind can.
exactly.
Awesome.
And
That's
Ben will
awesome.
be there for you if you need any tips. I don't think you do, Alan, but he would definitely want to give you some input if you need
Well,
anything.
I just
We'll
see a
do
sense
that.
of collaboration in the very near future.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Awesome. So Ben, we could go on all day with that film stuff. It interests me as well. And I'm sure many of our audience would like to hear more about that. But I wanted to ask you about the World Sight Day and what that means to you, and if you've made any films regarding that annual event.
When I look at World Sight Day, I appreciate that and I celebrate the fact that people are celebrating, not just blindness, but the vision and the stories in our community and the things that we achieve. But the day that comes just 3 days later, and I feel their partner, and I want to shout out to the White Cane Day. I'm holding the White Cane in my hand right now.
Oh, the White Cane Day.
Mhm. Yeah, the White Cane Day is October 15th every year.
Oh,
And
okay.
those 2 dates, World Sight Day, for me, when White Cane Day hits, they go together because I meet the world with and because of this white cane. I get emotional about it because I didn't understand that I am blind when I can still see through this tunnel. It was incomprehensible to me. And I put this white cane in my hand and I suddenly feel safe again to walk forward when I didn't know that I didn't feel safe anymore. With every single step I ever took, for years, I was literally afraid because I was knocking things, people, and important stuff down on the ground. And so I was a little baby stepping. And one day somebody said, Ben, you do actually realize that you are actually legally blind now. You qualify for a white cane. And so I'm able to be here on this World Sight Day, and I am grateful to be part of this organization and part of this programming today. But my heart is still focused on White Cane Day. So it's a marriage of the 2 days for me. And so I'm celebrating starting today the World Sight Week.
Hey,
Yeah.
why not? Why not start celebrating? You know what, Ben? The recipe that you're going to show us today, we could all celebrate with you if you choose to add some alcohol to that. We could all toast to World Sight Day and also White Cane Day and merge them together and toast to your so I hate to say eye-opening experience, but it's interesting how you didn't think that you were blind, and then someone pointed out to you, you qualify, you should get a cane, and you faced your, I don't know what you would call it, not really hitting you. A light bulb went up in your head and you're like, I could use a white cane, and it just opened up your whole life. So, Ben, let's get started on making your Italian soda.
Italian
Go ahead
soda.
and explain where it came from. Why did you pick this? Why is it Italian? And show us how you do it.
Okay. Well, as Mario says, with all due respect, let's go. And starting out with a 12-ounce beautiful milkshake glass from Miss Sylvia Perez. And we're at the Perez Manor today, this wonderful kitchen. So I'd like to first thank the chef for allowing me to be in the kitchen. So
Yay.
I wanted to say, I have some rinsed ice here. And Sylvia says it's really important, those small tips, like you should tell the people at home. Have you ever just taken some ice out of your freezer and you start drinking it and you kind of taste the freezer? So take out some ice and rinse it. Rinse your ice, ladies and gentlemen. Rinse, rinse, rinse. Because we're making Italian sodas. Italian
Okay,
sodas.
that's the Italian music. Okay.
Not really. I'm just mixing multiple songs. It's kind of fun. Here we go. So I have some ice. I have my beautiful milkshake glass. I've got a straw in there. I'm gonna fill that glass with ice. Now, you're going to get yourself several ingredients here. I'm going to name them each. So simple. Club soda.
How much? About a cup?
You're going to want to have 10 ounces of club soda. And you're going to mix that with cream or half and half. Either one is fine. It's to taste, though. And vanilla syrup. And I like Tirani's vanilla syrup. But any kind of vanilla coffee syrup for, like, you know, coffees. Now, go ahead and take the club soda. Oh, I like that sound. It means there's carbonation. People like to measure, but I just pour in about half a glass full because you're going to top it off with club soda too. And that way, you're not too married to how much club soda versus ice. The most important part is you're going to have a shot glass. I should have told you that, though, a shot glass. After that, you got everything you need. You want a shot glass because it's an ounce. So I have the glass, the milkshake glass. It's got ice in it. It's got club soda in it, halfway to the top. I got the vanilla syrup that flavors coffee. I got a shot glass. It's an ounce. I'm going to do this over the sink because we're in Chef Sylvia's kitchen.
You got to be neat. You have to be neat there, right?
I do. Now, there's a lot of different ways for people to do this. And if I was making this for a guest, I would not let my finger touch this, by the way. And I'm using my teeny tunnel of vision. And I have my tunnel of vision focused at the rim of this thing where the light's going to hit it. But if I was completely blind, I'm going to ask Sylvia in a second how she measured that.
When you say a tunnel of vision, can you explain to us exactly how much you see it, you know, out in the perimeter?
Yeah. So my perimeter it's like static TV static. I remember what that looks like back in the day, all over my eyeball. And I have this little teeny tunnel of vision in the very center of it. And if you think about, like, percentage wise, I probably see about 5% what you do from that little tunnel. And of course, like, imagine looking through a funnel.
Okay.
You're looking through, like, put a funnel right up to your eye.
That's a good analogy. So that's probably even more than RP, or maybe you don't know
It's
the answer
RP
to
that I
that.
got. I'm advanced RP, advanced retinitis pigmentosa. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the 1 ounce shot glass of vanilla into the milkshake glass of ice and club soda. Boom. I'm going to stir it momentarily. But first, I'm going to add the 1 ounce shot of the cream. The cream. Okay, I did a fast pour, and I'm going to do slow pour right at the top. I think I'm pretty close. For some reason, I went to pour it. I was expecting it to be like really thick, and it came out fast. Whoops. Okay, now, this is what makes this taste like a milkshake. Now, the fun part. Sure.
Like a root beer float.
That's really what it is. Yeah. That's really what this is. You stir it up. And it's going to taste a lot like a vanilla milkshake. And if you have a soda stream at home, I do. This is the funnest, simplest, easiest drink you can make for your friends anytime. And here we go. I'm going to taste it. That's pretty good.
Is it good? I wish we could taste it.
I can literally sense Sylvia saying,
I want to be waiting for my time.
Oh, damn.
So can
Ladies and
Alan,
gentlemen,
can
I'd
you
like to
see
provide y'all with an audio description of this Italian soda here on World Sight Day. Hold on a second. Okay. First, it's smooth. It tastes kind of like the sugar cookies your grandma made you, right? And show up and grandma's like, here, have some cookies. They're still warm, but it's not warm. It's cold. It's cold good, like warm good cookies. Wow.
That's a great description. I can't see well because I'm on the phone, but Alan, he held the finished product up to the camera.
I can see it very well, although I have no color perception. Whoops, you had it there in that nice big glass. and it's about
Yeah.
3/4 full. He's been drinking on it already. Now, my idea would be to put it down about that far and add a little adult beverage like, I don't know, maybe Kahlua.
Ooh.
What do you say?
You know, I'm not going to do that on camera or anything like that because I'm not sure what the policy is, but it is World Sight Day, and I'm with one of my all-time favorite blind friends, and I'll tell you what, friend, blind or not, one of my all-time favorite friends who happens to be blind, so I think we'll celebrate. I don't know. I'm not confirming or denying. But...
Got some Kahlua for later.
Okay,
Thank
we'll
you so
save
much,
it for the
guys.
weekend. The weekends and the
Hey, it
holidays
is
will
Thursday.
definitely.
It's Thursday.
It is Thursday. It's a big house. We'll
All
carry
right,
on the
Ben.
party. Roger's
All
here.
right. Well,
That's fantastic, Ben. Thank you so much. And we're going to save that secret sauce to put in there for a weekend and the holidays. Thank you so much.
All
That
right,
was a
one
simple
question
but
though, you
powerful
guys. What's your
recipe.
very favorite movie? Could you tell me your favorite movie before I go? Because I am the blind filmmaker and I love movies so
My
much.
favorite?
Yes, please.
Oh, I love so many, but Forrest Gump was one of my favorites.
I
And
love
still
it.
is.
I love it. Life is a box of chocolates.
Exactly.
How about you, Alan?
well, I kind of am a Star Wars fan.
Which
Maybe
one?
the original Star Wars.
Nice. Nice. Well, to that I say,
Favorite
may the
movies,
force be
right?
with you. Pardon?
You said favorite movies, right?
Oh, yeah. And I said, and to that, I say, may the force be with you.
Thank you.
And this has been Fox signing off.
All right.
The White King
Now-
said, Dr. Buffalo.
Now we would like to welcome our longtime friend, Sylvia Stinson-Perez. Sylvia, please tell us a little bit about yourself and what does World Sight Day mean to you?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm thrilled to be here, and I haven't cooked on Cooking Without Looking for, Renee told me my show that I appeared on was 17 years ago, and I think we filmed it like 20 years ago. And I remember I made spinach lasagna all those years ago. So it's kind of fun to now actually be in my kitchen and cooking with you guys.
Well, you've been with us all along, doing something or other all along.
Well, so I have spent, I like Ben have a form of retinitis pigmentosa, and but I really don't have any remaining vision. I see light and shadow, pretty much only. I do know that back when I was on the show all those years ago, I could actually see a fair amount. So my strategies, my cooking techniques have changed a lot. I've had to develop a lot of adaptive skills since then. But I have spent my career, starting way back then, in the blindness field, leading an agency and working in a variety of roles in the blindness world, and love making an impact in the lives of people who are blind. So World Sight Day for me, I agree with Ben that, White Cane Awareness Day is really big. And, this year World Sight Day is focused on work. And I don't know if you know, but October is also Disability Employment Awareness Month. So working is a big part of my life, and lots of people who are blind want to work and, unfortunately do not work at the same level as our sighted counterparts. So I would say give people an opportunity. And I would love if we had more people who are blind actually working in the blindness field. We need that.
I agree completely with you.
Yeah.
Well, Sylvia, what are you preparing for us today?
I am going to do a very simple pumpkin bread because it is fall and fall weather has finally arrived, even in Florida. Maybe not in South Florida, but at least up in North Florida, fall weather has finally arrived.
It's 90 degrees down here today.
Well, but you can still enjoy some nice pumpkin bread even when it's 90 degrees. For years, I have been making pumpkin bread. that involved 15 or 20 ingredients. Everybody who cooks knows, you know, that's a lot of work. So last year, I was not wanting to go look up my recipe, but I really wanted to make some pumpkin bread. So I asked Alexa for a recipe. And then all of a sudden I hear her say, 2-ingredient pumpkin bread. I was like, let me hear what this 2-ingredient pumpkin bread is. Y'all, it's shocking. It's a spice cake mix and a can of pureed pumpkin. That's it. However, I'm going to be honest with you. As a cook, I cannot deal with a 2-ingredient pumpkin bread. And so I have already actually put into my bowl, right here, I have a big stainless steel mixing bowl. And I'm going to tell you, I like to use a big mixing bowl because when I don't, I end up with ingredients on the counter. But I wanted to just say, so I have just mixed these 2 ingredients in this mixing bowl. And it is not enough because it's too dry. So that 2-ingredient thing, not hacking it. So I'm going to just add a few little extra ingredients. Those are going to just make it better. But I'm also going to talk about the texture. So I want to start with one of the main things you always want to do is have all of your ingredients right there when you're ready for them. Have what you need on hand so you're not having to go and search and look and, you know, realize you don't have something you needed. So always get all your ingredients together. So I have all of my things here, and I've got some measuring cups. I've already prepared my baking loaf pan with some parchment paper in it. So I am going to start with, I'm going to add a little bit of, I'm just going to do a sprinkle of pumpkin pie spice. And I keep this on my counter during the fall because I just do a little sprinkle in my coffee every day. And that just gives that a little bit of extra oomph. Then I'm going to take the cinnamon. Now, I don't have the little holes on top of the cinnamon because I'm literally going to put my measuring spoon in here into this cinnamon. I'm going to do about a teaspoon. And I'm going to make it a heaping teaspoon because cinnamon is really good. I'm actually going to use the container of the cinnamon to level it, if that makes sense.
Well, if you hold it sideways and you pull it across, it'd be kind of rounded to the side of the container.
Exactly what I did.
And can I make an assumption here that you're figuring out which measuring spoon is which by feel?
Yes.
Okay.
I touched them all and I can tell. Now you can get measuring spoons that have braille on them and all that. But since I cook a lot, I mean, I could literally feel them and know, okay, this is that. And same with the measuring cups. Is, you know, I'm just used to using them. But another thing I'll say is contrast is good. It doesn't help me at this point. But, you know, let's say with the cinnamon, if I actually do think these are light colored. But I don't know. Okay. But if I was doing, if I wanted to have different ones, if I was doing a light color thing, maybe I'd use a dark colored measuring spoon. But since that doesn't matter to me anymore, they're just what I have. So that's,
if you remember correctly, you've been giving us little tips for years and years and years. And that was one of your tips I picked up on. That one and working over a tray. And I still do it to this day.
Work over a tray.
Yes.
Working over a tray. And I don't have one because we were moving things around a bit here with 2 people. So I am working over my bowl. So, so I'm just mixing this in a little bit. I think it's really important to mix your ingredients after each thing you add. That way you get a really good mix in. Now, here we come to, this is not, I'm stirring this and it's like, oh, I gotta work really hard. And that's not, that I can tell that is not gonna be okay. So I'm gonna need to add a little bit of water and a little bit of oil. So I'm gonna start with a little bit of oil, and I have just a little 4th cup here. I'm not even gonna add 4th cup. So I'm just gonna pour this in, and Ben asked how I pour. I do it by listening, and when something gets the liquid in there, it actually gets quieter, but it doesn't work so much with oil, so I did just touch it. So I'm gonna pour this little bit of oil in here, just to have enough, and I'm gonna add a little bit of, just a tablespoon of water, because I just need this to be a little bit more pliable. And I'm going to tell you how you know when it's done, because I saw a post the other day on the Cooking Without Looking TV show blog that talked about how sometimes your bread, like your pumpkin bread, can turn out rubbery. And the only way to prevent that is to, well, there are 2 things you do. One is how you cook it, how well you cook it, but the other starts with your actual dough. And if your dough is not the right consistency, you will get rubbery feeling pumpkin bread. Now, mixing this really well. Now, I'm going to roll up my sleeves here. The only way, and I learned this from a fabulous blind chef, everybody, chefs, cook with their hands. And when you're a blind chef, you really have to cook with your hands. So I am actually going to touch this to see if it's the consistency I want. And I guess I was thinking about how could I describe the right texture, the right consistency. And I'm going to attempt to. So if it's like batter, if it's like pudding, it's too wet. Okay? If it's like pudding, it's too wet. Now, if that happens to you, you could add a little flour and mix it in really, really, really good. Okay? You really want it to be like, if you've ever done pottery, like clay. Not like Play-Doh, because that's a little, so a kind of a glossy feel. And I'm trying to explain this for people who really can't see, who really need to have that feel. Does that make sense? Kind of that glossy feel, but still very, I'm going to hold it up. So you can see, like, I'm holding it up. It is not movable in the bowl. It moved a little bit because it's a big bowl, but it's not like liquidy. Does that make sense?
It does. If you made a little brick of it, you set it on a table, it'd pretty much stay that way. But if you poke your fingers in it, you could easily poke your fingers
like
in
the word brick. The
word
brick might not be the word
look,
I use.
okay.
Okay. Now, look. Now
Lost your voice.
Raisins. Now, I have to tell y'all, the other day I had some apples, and I thought to myself, I bet apples and pumpkin bread would be fabulous. So I peeled and chopped up an apple and put in with the raisins, and it was just as fabulous as I thought it would be. Amazing. Now, my daughter always loved in hers chocolate chips. So I'm just going to put this cup of raisins in.
Chocolate chips. What about berries, like blueberries?
Oh, that might be really good too. Or dates. I mean, there are so many things. You're not limited. But I thought that the apples, I was like, ooh, I think that would be so good. So good. So we're almost done. Can you believe that? How easy is this, Annette? I told you it was easy. So, all I have left is to put it in the pan. I've mixed it up really good. And all I gotta do, I have previously gotten, I put a little bit of oil into a loaf pan. And I have put in some parchment paper. I love to cook with parchment paper because it makes life so much easier for cleaning. Now, here's my trick for putting this pumpkin bread into this loaf pan. I have a 1 cup measuring cup. I'm gonna dip and put in. Shake it out. Get another cup. Got my spoon. Spoon.
Now these are heaping cups.
Heaping cups. Because I'm just using this as the method to put it in the pan, because it'd be so hard to hold that up.
Oh, okay. I thought
just,
you were measuring it into there when you said you had a 1 cup measuring cup.
And just putting it into the pan. And then I'm just using my spoon here to spread it out as evenly as I can. Okay. There we go. Good enough. I'll hang on to this little batch and put it later. But now, let me talk about putting it in the oven. I've preheated my oven. And I got a little surprise for y'all there too. So for putting something in the oven, I know that I've shared the tip before, and I've taught people that you do not have to preheat your oven, okay? There are things you definitely, if you're doing something that has a lot of eggs, like a quiche, a cheesecake, you've got to preheat. But there are things you don't have to preheat. And if you're very stressed about putting your hand, putting something into a hot oven or taking something out, you can actually try. Now, all of us know every oven cooks differently. Every oven cooks differently. You got to learn your oven. I've been in this house for 2 years, and I think I finally get out, the timing for my oven. And so you don't have to preheat. You're just going to need to have it in there probably a couple minutes longer. And if you're leaving it in at the end and letting, turning off your oven, you might not even have to. It will take some trial and error to figure that out though. But let's just cover really quick how to actually put something in the oven safely. So I'm going to step over here to my oven. I'm going to set this down. I'm going to step over here and grab my oven mitt. You always want to reach into a hot oven with an oven mitt. I have an UGG glove. That's what I love because I need to feel my fingers. I wish it were a little longer, but it's not. But what you do is stand to one side, and I always try to stand to the left-hand side of my oven. You open it all the way. I'm sure that lots of people have burned their arms about that middle arm between your elbow and your wrist because they opened the oven part way and reach in. I know people who can see do that. Then you're going to pull out your rack just a little bit. And I'm going to take my loaf pan here. I'm going to put it in the center of my oven because that's another thing I've learned. The other day I was making a couple loaves of pumpkin bread, and one was to the far right of the oven. One was more in the center, and the far right one, of course, finished a little sooner, so I had to put it in a few more minutes. And I'm pulling out my completed one for you. Then I'm going to, I pushed the little rack back in if I pulled it out at all. And I'm going to reach down and swoop my arm around the door and close the door.
That was a very good explanation of opening and closing an oven. Very.
Here
very
is
good.
my finished pumpkin bread loaf. Any questions?
Sylvia, thank you very much. You know, I still have my long sleeve UGG glove. I love it. It's great.
I like
And
the fingers ones though. That's why I like the UGG glove.
why did you get a short sleeved one?
I haven't ever found a long sleeved UGG glove.
Oh,
This
my
one has
golly.
fingers.
I'm not sure. I think we got them when we were on the show.
Oh, I
I'm
did.
not sure though. I can't remember. That was a long, long time. I don't say long sleeve, but it came up to, I don't
Yeah.
know, the middle of my arm, give or take.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
does it have fingers, Alan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
those kind.
I have a question for Sylvia.
Yes.
I have a question, Sylvia. That was an amazing demonstration. I'm curious, how long are you going to let that cool before you turn it over and take it out?
Oh, I actually preheated, but if I wasn't preheating, I would need to test that a little bit. But I think I would probably do a 45. I would put it in, turn it on, and I know for my oven, it is a solid 40 minutes. You know, if I preheat, it's 40 minutes. So I would probably then do a 45-minute timer if I put it in cold, and then test it at 40. But it, you know, but if not, if I'm too nervous to pull it out, if I were one of those people too nervous, I would just then let it turn off at 45, and I think it would be fine.
No,
Now-
but I'm saying to take it out of the pan. Were you going to wait about 45 minutes as well before you take it
to
out of the
take it
pan?
out of this pan, I'm gonna let it cool a little bit, and then what's wonderful, this is done. This is a done version. So all you have to do with the parchment paper is pick it up.
That's easy. Just pick it up with the parchment paper.
Yes, and that's why I always let my parchment paper hang just a little bit so I can pick it up.
Okay.
Love that.
And I use that
That
with
paper.
cakes and everything.
And it cleans much easier too.
Oh yes.
I
That's the
love
best
it.
part. That's why I started using it. But I will tell you that I think your baked goods actually turn out better too. It's really hard to burn something with parchment paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've come out with that new parchment paper. I don't know if you've used that. It's just already comes out in sheets.
Yep.
I love it. You don't have to tear it off or anything.
Interesting. Do we have any questions from our audience today? Renee, are you there somewhere?
I am here. I don't see any questions. So
Wow. Sylvia, what a wonderful fall recipe. Thank you so much for sharing, and always with those wonderful kitchen tips. We really appreciate it. And
Yes. Yes, we do. Thank you so much, Sylvia. I like the tip, like Alan said about the oven. I never thought of doing that. I always open all the way, lean over, and it's just not working for me. I think it's better to go to the side, like you said.
Yes.
But thank you again. And thank you, Ben Fox, and of course, for being on the show. And thank you to all of us for joining us on Cooking Without Looking TV show. And a special thanks to Blind United for all your support as well. If you would like today's show, if you would like the recipe, because you want to really do this recipe and you need to but have that, be able to read that recipe somehow with your CCT machine or what have you, as well as a previous show, please go to our website and you can watch the show again. You don't have to read anything, basically. Go to www.cookingwithoutlooking.tv.wordpress.com. Alan?
if you would like to enjoy today's show or past shows, try going to our Cooking Without Looking YouTube channel. Please remember to like and subscribe.
Excellent, excellent. And if you teach people who are blind or visually impaired, I mean, a lot of people are using this show to teach their students about cooking and the different tips and developing courage and being inspired. and informed, please go to our Cooking Without Looking TV show website, and you could use that for free to teach your students.
Also, check out our Cooking Without Looking podcast on Spotify and iHeartRadio, or anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. We're also available on all Alexa-enabled devices.
Absolutely. It's all about technology now, which makes it a lot easier for blind and visually impaired people to get information. If you'd like to donate, this is last but not least, go to Vision World Foundation. You'd like to help us change the way that we see blindness, please go to our website again at www.cookingwithoutlookingtv.wordpress.com and click on the link in the top of the page. And for more information, please call Renee at 305-200-9104.
Look for our next show in November. On behalf of Annette Watkins, Renee Rentmeister, Sylvia Stinson-Perez, Ben Fox, and all of us at the Cooking Without Looking TV show and Vision World Foundation, thank you all, and bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Time to